The air grew colder as I descended into the earth, the sound of dripping water echoing around me. The passage opened up into a vast room, the size of which I couldn't comprehend. The floor was a circular platform made of smooth, flat stones, and all around me were these strange, tall, thin pillars that stretched up into the darkness above. But it was the center of the room that drew my attention. There, suspended in the air, were countless lanterns. They floated motionless, and their light flickered with an unnatural green glow. It was a mesmerizing sight, beautiful, yet unsettling, like the calm before a storm. As I stepped onto the platform, shadows that had been lying dormant on the walls and ceiling began to move. They stretched and twisted, reaching out towards me like grasping claws. I froze, unsure how to react. The whispers started then, slithering through the cracks in the stone pillars and coiling around my mind. They urged me to move, to walk towards the floating lanterns, but their voices were my name. They were calling me, beckoning me closer. I wanted to scream, to break the silence, but no sound came out. My feet moved on their own accord, taking slow, deliberate steps towards the lanterns. With each step, the light from the lanterns flickered violently, casting grotesque shapes on the walls. The closer I got, the more distorted they became, stretching and warping until they were barely recognizable. My heart pounded in my chest, but it wasn't fear that drove me forward. It was an insatiable curiosity, a need to understand what was happening. Why was I experiencing this? The whispers grew louder, their voices overlapping, creating a cacophony of sound that reverberated within my skull. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. The whispering ceased, and the shadows on the wall froze. I stood transfixed, listening intently, but there was nothing. No sound, no movement, only the faint glow of the lanterns and the pounding of my own heart. And in that moment I realized I wasn't alone. There was something else in the room with me, something unseen, its presence heavy in the stagnant air. I turned slowly, my eyes adjusting to the dim light, searching for the source of the disturbance. But the room was empty. There was nothing there. Yet I could feel its eyes on me, boring into me, and I knew I wasn't safe. Whatever lurked in the shadows had seen me, and whatever it wasn't friendly. Fear finally took hold, propelling me backwards. I stumbled over my own feet, desperate to escape the room, to get away from the oppressive feeling that threatened to consume me. As I fled, I cast one last glance over my shoulder. The lanterns were still there, their glow unwavering, and the shadows on the wall still stretched and twisted, reaching out like the hands of the dead.